This is such a difficult song to play. I haven't been playing it for that long. A student of mine plays it, a 10-year-old kid, and I'm just working at it, trying to get the time in, but it's so fast. But yeah, so today is a good day. Today is a Stevie Ray Vaughan day, and I hope you're ready for this. I'm really excited about this. So, because my student does the Stevie Ray Vaughan Scuttle Buttin song, I transcribed it for him. It was a lot of work, and I remember doing my first transcription, and then he came to me to the lesson and saying that he saw Stevie Ray Vaughan play all those things with bends, right? In the intro riff. And that was very interesting. So I looked at it. I was like, hey, you're right. Those are bends. And I kind of just left it at that. And I was like, okay, I need to just change some things in my transcription. And then I stumbled upon a video where I think it was somebody playing Scuttle Buttin. And then in the comment section, it was a lot of back and forth on people like, no, it should be done with bends. But if you listen to the studio version at slow speed, you'll hear it's such and such. And so that kind of triggered me going back into it and putting the song into my DAW and splitting the stems and just going on a journey and seeing if I can figure out and settle this debate once and for all. And of course, I've already done it, so I kind of know the answer. Like always, the answer is it depends. So what I would like to do... So what I would like to do is, the first thing that I want to do is just go over with you guys what the riff is. So one riff we'll just do with bends and the other one with slide. And then from there, we'll have a look at the recording that I did. So what I took from Stevie Ray Vaughan himself. So the split stem. And I play it back at super slow motion so you can really hear where there are slides and where there are bends. So I thought that might be an interesting thing to do. Now, one last thing before we dive in, because there was a suggestion from some people in the comment section who said, I think he is playing slides during a live gig because he has heavy gauge strings and he can't, play that song and bend it for a full set. And, there can be many reasons why somebody chooses to do slides. Maybe that is true, but in a way, I don't really buy it because Stevie Ray Vaughan learned to play blues. He played a lot in pubs. Like, he played long sets, before he became famous. So his fingers were trained, man. He knew what to do. So to think that he would need to save himself on a song,
for that, I don't know. Of course, we'll never know, but I don't believe it. I don't believe that that is the truth. What do you guys think? Do you think he would play slides just to save his fingers? Not sure if you ever seen him play. It doesn't look like he's holding back anywhere. So yeah, I think the slides thing can be something that felt more flowy for him. He felt maybe more, I don't know, but we'll get to it. We'll get to it. I can appreciate that the studio is a different environment than a gig, and you do different things at a gig than in the studio. Just as me playing this in front of you guys here live on YouTube, I play much more mistakes than I would if I'm on my own. Of course, I can't prove it because the moment I want to prove it, well, you have to be there live because otherwise you wouldn't believe me. You think I'd be editing the footage. Anyways, so, yeah, so let's just go over this step by step. So let's start with the riff, okay? So, if you want to follow along with this, you can, of course. Then you'll have to have your guitar tuned down a half step. It's a quick tune, and then so this is the riff, right? So let's do it bends first. So we get this. So we have the bend on second position on the G. Then you get B, E, B, and then we get a bend on 3 of B, like this. Right? Then we get open E, third of B, pull off, and then third on G, slide to 2, open, and then we get second of the D string, right? Right? That is the pickup, because the theme actually starts after that. So then we get this bit, so right? So we get pinky on E3, ring finger on B3, open G, middle finger on D2, and index finger on A2. So we got bass, chord, bass, chord, chord, bass, chord, chord, like that, right? So that's it. That is version 1 of the riff. This is playing with bends. So when you play this with slides, it's kind of the same. So what you do is instead of a bend on 2, you slide from 2 to 4, right? Then the rest is the same. And then instead of a bend on 3 on the B string, you now slide from 3 to 5, right? So, right? And then the rest is the same. Right? So bend. And then slide. Right? So essentially, they're kind of the same, but if you're playing it, and especially if you're playing it at that speed, they definitely flow differently. So now let me rearrange just a few things here so you can kind of follow along. So where is my DAW? And just to prepare you guys, so this is going to sound awful. So now you know you're going to find out what it sounds like to listen to something at slow speed. This is going to absolutely sound horrific. But that's how us YouTubers try to get to the bottom of things. So let's see. So are you prepared? Here we go. So this is the opening riff. Maybe let me just very quickly do... No, let's not. Okay. So here it is. Okay, so when you hear the first note, You can definitely hear that thing being bent upwards. Right? And then you get... So you can definitely hear a bend in both. Now, what I think to hear here is actually the first time he plays it, is that instead of going from the third position to second position and that slide down, he's actually doing this from fourth position to the second position. So, right? In next versions, I think he's definitely doing it sliding down from 3 to 2, but you may think differently. Okay, so unless you don't, if you don't agree with my finding here, then definitely let me know in the chat. But I personally think that in that first riff, so bar 1, it's bends. So now let's listen to bar 3. So this is another time that same lick. Now here, I think something different is going on. So the first one definitely feels like that bend. So you can hear that slow rise in there. Right? So you hear that. And just to let you know, I've slowed this thing down incredibly. Like this is really slow. Right? And then all of a sudden you get this. It almost feels like a hammer-on. Now, I know this is not a hammer-on, but it like how fast it changes, but at that speed, I think that is actually a slide. So you get a bend. So the second time he plays that lick, he plays a combination of a bend first and a slide second. Isn't that funny? Because, well, to me, you know, in the video that I checked first, people were saying like, oh, it's all bends and listen to it slow. Well, I'm listening to it slow and I'm listening to the stem track, but that sounds to me like bend slide. So then if we go to bar 5, so for those of you who are my patrons, on Patreon, there is the tablature for this. Actually, I don't have the updated tablature for this song there, so I'll post that. I'll post that later. Okay, so now let's go to bar 5. Here it comes. So here, I think it's actually 2 slides. So, and in case you're thinking like, yeah, but it kind of still feels like it's bending. So remember that in bar 1, when you hear that first bend, that sounds like a bend. But the other one sounds more mechanical, where you hear like, da-dum. It's like, it's instant, right? So when I hear bar 5, so here's the same thing. So here I hear 2 slides. So it's like, right? So funny, you start with bend, then it is bend, what was it? Bend slide? I forgot. And now it's slide. So this is pretty cool. So apparently on the record, he is not just using one thing. He is using all those techniques and he's just doing whatever comes natural in the moment, which is what kind of makes sense to me. Okay, so now let's listen to bar 7 and see what's happening there. Here you can hear it so clearly that it's just a flip, right? You have one note, boom, you have the other one. Same thing, right? So same thing. So in bar 7, it's only slides. Bar 5 is only slides. So let's see what bar 9 has. And if you don't mind, I would like to go over most of them for at least the first bit of the theme. But this is how it's done. Also here, bar 9 is slide, slide. Let's see if I still have that on my tablature here. Let's see. So bar, what is it? Bar 9, bar 9, bar 9, bar 9. Yeah, slide. Yeah. Okay. So then we go to bar 11. So that one is a little different. Yeah, so with bar 11, you have that, you don't have that first slide up because he skips that. Also a slide. So let's make sure we hear it. Yeah. There you have it. Da-dum. Yeah. So this is, I kind of find this really interesting because, and this is where I feel internet is a really cool place to be, because there is all this discussion, but lately with AI being able to split stems, you know, for me to download a track onto my DAW and then to split the stems and to listen to a track in so much detail, just based on the fact that I've just heard someone or see discussion, I'm intrigued, and then you dive into it, and then you discover all those things that before would be really hard to figure out on your own, right? When I grew up, you know, doing it with a tape deck, you know, and just rewind, and maybe you had like a 4-track that you could slow down, but then the pitch would go down as well. So this is really, really neat. Yeah, it doesn't necessarily make us better players, but at least now we know what they're doing. So essentially, when it comes down to that whole first thing, it kind of goes like this. So let me just play it for you slowly. So like this. So you get, here we go. Right? That's kind of that first bit of the theme. So then we get into the second bit. And then let's just go over that a little bit more quickly than what I just did, and just make sure that also here we have our slides and such correctly. So let me just quickly grab something here. Here we go. Screen horizontal. By the way, I don't know if anyone of you uses Guitar Pro, but if you do, I'm wondering if you're having stability issues, because lately I've been having a lot of stability issues where that thing just crashes all the time. So if you do have that, then I would like to know about it. Okay, so bar 13. So let's have a listen. Here we go. Here you can clearly hear instantly, well, at least I can, you hear that just gentle bend up, right? You hear it clearly, right? So that's clear. Right? That's a slide. And then we get the rest is just the same. Okay, so then we go to bar 15. All right, so that one, so the second one is a bend, I hear. It's a bit harder to hear. Yeah, it's like you hear it come up gently. Yeah, that one I find hard. That could be either a slide or a bend. I find that one hard to hear. What do you think? I'll play it one more time. Maybe we can figure this one out together. Yeah, that one is really I almost feel like he just holds on onto that note a little bit longer, and then it just slides up. And then you get the rest of those. So for me, that's slide bend. But if you think it is bend or bend slide or slide, then definitely let me know. So this is for bar 15. Okay, so now I'm going to play bar 17. So let's see what bar 17 does here. Hold on. There we go. Yeah, so that I'm making faces, I think. So that one to me, whoops. So that one to me is slide bend for sure. Because you hear it really flop from one note to the next. Right there. And that one you feel like come up. So again. All right. So that brings us to bar 19 already. Yeah, also here, I hear a slide and then a bend. So you have that flip-flop thing. Right? Right? It does that. Yeah, and then that one. It could be a slide, but I'm leaning towards bend. I think bend. It's too smooth to be a slide, I think. Yeah, it's too smooth to be a slide. What do you think? I know you guys don't like to comment. It's always scary to be the first one, but you can do it. I know you can do it. You can be the first one to drop me a comment. It's there's nothing to be afraid of. I know YouTube can be a bad place. It's a scary place. It's a big place, but come on. We're all, well, maybe we're not all adults here, but we can stand our ground here. All right. So let's see. Bar 21, almost done with that full theme. Interesting. So here I hear bend and then a slide. Yeah, you can definitely hear that one come up. It's funny with this. So when you when it's a real bend, so the moment, so for instance with this one, there's no question about it. There is no question. The bends are super clear. So the moment where it's kind of like, I'm not really sure, I'm more tempted to say it's a slide than that it is a bend. But yeah, so I would say the first one is a bend. Second one, that one is a slide. Pretty sure. Yeah, here you hear it clearly. Da-da, like it just flops. So you have one note and then it all of a sudden flops to the other one. It's not a technical term, by the way, but that's kind of how I look at it. All right. So that brings us to bar 23. So let's see what bar 23 has in store for us. Uh-huh. So let's do that one again. So what do you think? I think that's a bend. And actually, I don't have that. I thought I had corrected them all, or maybe I just didn't do that correctly. But that is definitely a bend. So then we move on. And that one is clearly a slide to me. Yeah, it's too sudden to be a bend. So that means that the second time the theme is played, this is what it would be. So hold on, let me get my pages in order. As I said, I'm still working on this song myself, so it's really hard to do it all correctly. So here we go. So let me just switch to this view here. Okay. So the pickup starts in bar. Oh my gosh, those numbers are small. Bar 13. Bar 13. Here we go. So I got. Right. So that is how you play that theme, right? So so we did the first half, then we did the second half. So that is how you play that theme. To me, there is very little debate anymore about when it comes to slides or bends. I'm pretty sure that what we did in this video is fairly accurate, I would say. Hey, and where I come from, I'm from the Netherlands originally. I'm right now live in Canada, but we have a saying that those who don't speak up agree. So none of you said anything when I was doing these things, so I'm assuming you agree, or maybe you don't. But anyways. You can still put your 5 cents worth in the comment section. So I'm kind of wondering what to do next. So what I'm thinking, what I would like to do is to make a start on the first solo, or we can save it for next week and we could do some other stuff. Of course, I shouldn't put that out there right now because well, you're not the biggest chatty bunch right now. So I have to kind of figure it out myself, whether I want to or not. Let's see. Yeah, that's interesting. I'm kind of, you're seeing me contemplate things live. Isn't that wonderful? Let's see. Yeah, maybe we can make a start on that first solo, and there's a chance that maybe next week that's where I'm gonna pick it up, anyways. So when we end the theme of this song, now I know exactly what I'm gonna do. Now I know exactly what I'm gonna do. Okay, so sorry for all the chatter, but now I know what I'm gonna do. So I've been thinking about this for a long time. What I want you to do is to tell me what you would prefer, how I would explain a solo. So I assume that anyone who tries to learn the solo for Stevie Ray Vaughan's Scuttle Buttin is a good player. So you don't need me telling you everything, I assume, right? You don't need me telling you where to put your finger, maybe. So would it be sufficient, just a question, would it be sufficient for me to just give you, for instance, this view here, which is, let's make sure that everything is aligned nicely and neatly. Ooh, the picking hand isn't. Whoops, there we go. So we have the picking hand and this, and if I would just play it sort of slowly, would that be enough? Would that be good? So I could play, hold on. So I could, for instance, play this. Something like that. So would that be enough for you? Enough information to say like, hey, that's how to play it. Would it be? Would it help if I would add a beat to it, for instance? So I could, for instance, set my my drummer to something slower, like maybe 90 beats per minute. So that would be like this. Whoops. So let's add a beat to this. All right, so this is the beat, right? So I could play on that. So you get this. So, something like that. Would that be enough? Or is it at some point that oh, sorry, I didn't do the two hands thing. I can still do that. But what would work better? So the other thing that I can do, of course, is do it lick by lick. So like this. So okay, so I would switch to this view normally. And I would just ask you like, okay, no, I wouldn't ask you. I would tell you. All right, so you start with your index finger in third position of the B string, right? And you play it along with the high E string. So and you make a hammer onto fifth, right? Then you keep that finger there and you play down, up, down. So get... right? And then you do that again. Then what you do is you put your middle finger in second of G, then your middle finger on second of D, and you play it along with the G open. And you make a hammer on with your index finger in first position of the G string. So then you play with an upstroke, E and B, then D and G with a down, E and B, and then ring finger goes to the third of your B string, like there. Okay, so you get 3, 4, 1. Right? So I'll continue in a second, but so the tricky thing for me right now is that nobody's responding. So it's like, so I genuinely want to know how you want to learn. That would mean so much to me if you could put that into a comment. Just like it's literally maybe more than 5 seconds of your life, depending on how fast you type. But just let me know, what do you prefer? Do you like the lick for lick approach? And so you know exactly which finger, which string, maybe even down and upstrokes. Maybe you don't want to know the down and upstrokes. Maybe you just want strings and positions. That's it. Or are you like, just play it slowly, maybe to a beat, and I can figure it out myself. I'm fine. You really want to know how to do a pinch harmonic. So, fair enough. That's an important one. So pinch harmonic. Let's see. So, hi, and welcome. I don't like hearing myself. There we go. So, can you try this one? Because that's a video I did. It has 666,000 views. It's probably the only reason why I still have a YouTube channel. That single video is raking in the views. But it seems to work for a lot of people. So try that one. If it doesn't work, come back and and then you can tell me what's not working for you there. But yeah. So but anyway, so yeah, so maybe I have the wrong video title for me to do this back and forth thing. Because in the beginning I was kind of just showing things. So maybe none of you are really in the mood to do this, although there are already 2 comments, so you know, you don't want to be last. But yeah, so I'm kind of wondering what works best for you. Personally, I always thought that that it was best to do things lick by lick. So you just play the lick, so right, and then you do the next lick, and then you play it and you do that lick, and then you go to the next. But sometimes I read comments on other people's channels, for instance, and they're like, oh yeah, this is the way to do it. And people are super happy with it. And then sometimes I try it as well, but then I get a nasty comment on it. And I'm just trying to settle that debate for myself a little bit as well. So if you're new to the channel or whatever, I don't care. Just put your preferences in the comments, please. Please, pretty please. And then I will definitely take that seriously. All right. So where was I? So I did this bit, right? So I'll go back to to explaining that lick for those of you who are still waiting for me to do that, because that might be true as well. So we just did this one. So the next lick goes like this. Right? So basically that is just playing the blues scale descending almost entirely. So what you do is you do a third position on the B string bend, a slow bend, then we have open E, and then we get B3, pull off, then G3, slide to 2, pull off to open, and then middle finger to 2 on D. So Then what you do is you play G3, pull off, D2, pull off, and then we play A2 to D2, right? So I got, That's it. That's also the tricky thing when you're doing these tutorials. Sometimes you play it so slow that you kind of take it out of context, and that makes it really hard. So until now, we got this. So 3, 4, 1. Then we get that intro chord part again. And then we get another upstroke, but now on the open E, B, and G string. And then we get a tricky thing. And how do I explain that? So it is a pattern that shifts over time, right? So it's like da 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 da. It's really tricky. So what I think is important with this one, so I'll show you how to play it, but it's really easy to play in a way. So you get it's basically this bit. So anyone can play it. Anyone can play it. So it's just an open E. Sorry, let me show you. So you play open E, and then you just slide either from third of B or fourth, and you slide into fifth, right? So you got, but you start with the slide. So you got slide, and then open, slide, open, slide, open, slide, right? The tricky bit here is to do it in such a way that you're playing it rhythmically correct. So how do I explain that rhythm? Let's see. Down, down, go down. 1, 2, and 3, and 4. 1, and 2, and 3, 4, and. How do I explain that rhythm? That's actually. Hold on. Right. So I okay. So it's an 8th note and a 16th note. What you're playing. That's what it is. So you have an 8th note and you have a 16th note. So that is okay. So a little bit of rhythmic theory for those of you who are not versed in that. So when you have 16th notes in one beat, you have 4 notes. So when you have a rhythm of an 8th note, which is the same as 2 16th notes, and a 16th note, then you have a 3-part rhythm that has to of something that is subdivided in 4. So every beat, it sort of moves. Damn, I'm doing a poor job right now at explaining that. So maybe I should just say the rhythm and then and take it there. Okay. Let's see if I can. So you get 1, 2, and 3, and 4. 1, and 2, and 3, 4, and 1, and 2, 3, 4, and see? That's already where I go wrong. So 1, 2, and 3, 4, and I'm just gonna do it with I understand the rhythm. I can play it. It's just explaining it. It's just I didn't think of that ahead of this video, and I don't have a strategy for it right now. So I'm sorry about that. Let's see if the beat can help me out. Oh yeah, I could do it like super slow motion. 1, 2, 3, 4, and That's it. There you go. It took me a long time to, but that is the rhythm. You just have to speed it up by a whole lot. So then you get to the next bit, and that goes like this. That's right? So what do you do there? All right, so let's switch to this view again. So it picks up on the and of 4. So you get 1, 2, 3, 4. Right? So what do you do? So you have a full tone bend on G2. Then you play B and E, and then E on the upstroke. So then you play the B string, and then a slide into 5th of B. So like this. Then you play. Now we played that before in a previous lick. So you play open E, then B3, pull off, G3, slide to 2, open, pull off, and to 2nd of D. So like, then you get 3rd of G, pull off, 2nd of G, D, pull off, and then you go to 2nd of A, right? And then we go into that B7 bit. So, yeah, so you get, let's see. Yeah, so you get, there we go. So then you keep that middle finger there, and then you add your pinky on B3 and ring finger on G2. So you get, to open A, and then we get this bit. So this is index finger on E10, ring finger on B12. So N2, N3. Then you go to E9 and middle finger B10, and then you go down to E7 and middle finger B8, right? So, right? Then you get, so what you do is you slide into 2nd position of G and B, like this. Then you go to, am I doing this correctly? Yeah, and then to D2, and then you play G and B in 2nd, open, and then D2, open, and then A2, A open, like that. And then you get basically the pickup for the second part of the solo. I'll do the pickup, but that's where I'm going to start leaving it. So then we get from 7th, a double stop. So B and E. Slide it up to 12. And then you play kind of ring finger flat on G, B, and E in 14. And then you play 12 on G and B. Ring finger D14. And then a double on G12. Okay, so let's pick it up from that B chorus to get. And then it goes into the solo. All right, so let's check a couple comments. All right, so just came back from the pinch harmonic video. I'm letting the string bounce back and hit my thumb, but the string gets muted. All right, actually nice that you said that. Finish what you're doing right now. I don't want to interrupt. That's really nice. Yeah, so there are a couple of things that can happen there. So let me just show you Let me give you a close-up of this. Okay, so the thing is that the angling of the thumb, I don't think I have mentioned that in the video. I wish I had my other guitar in my hand now. But the angling of the thumb is also important. So if your thumb is parallel to the string, then where the string is bouncing back onto your thumb is going to be a very wide area, and that is going to mute that string. So what you want is you want to have a very narrow area. Oh, whoops. I don't have like a high gain setting on this thing right now. Maybe this is better. As you can see, my thumb is basically straight down when I do this. Right? So, of course, it's hard to say without seeing it, but that might be part of why it's not working. Awesome, SRV, you're killing it. I just got chat. It wasn't available. Oh, chat wasn't available? Aw, man. That's annoying. I wish, yeah. Okay, so that kind of boosts my ego a little bit, because now I can tell myself that people weren't commenting because the chat wasn't available, but maybe it wasn't just wasn't available for you. But yeah. So, well, if you're still here, just let me know what you would prefer. Like, do you prefer the lick by lick, finger for finger, or do you prefer just me playing the solo just at a slow speed with maybe a drum, a click along with it, so you get an idea for the timing? Just a clear view on left and right hand, and you figure it out yourself. Because when I started doing these tutorials, I was doing mainly beginner things. I mean, in the early days, although I've never really done like beginner. But you tend to explain a lot more things. And I get a sense that people who are more advanced get impatient with my videos at some point. They're like, oh man, this guy talks too much or explains too much. Like, it's sometimes too detailed. And of course, then there's the difference that this is a live stream. So, yeah, that's different as well, because during a live stream, you really go through the process with me. A video that is pre-recorded, you can cut and edit, but I can't do that here. You hear all my uhs and all my stumbles and all my mistakes. And yeah, show us blues licks. You're doing great. Thank you. That's awesome. Well, I've been streaming almost an hour now. I do this every week. I'm not sure if this is the first time you're hanging out here, but I do this every week. So anyone who's seeing this, just like next week, I'm going to be back. So next week, I'm going to do the next solo sections for, what is it? For the Scuttle Buttin solo. Maybe I'll start again fresh with the first bit, just so people who didn't see today's stream can kind of get into it. Yeah. Okay. So if you want like blues licks, is there any blues artists that you enjoy a lot that you would be like, hey, if you're going to do blues licks, you should do blues licks from this guy? Because, and of course, you don't have to say Stevie Ray Vaughan, because, I got that part covered, but maybe there's something else that you'd be interested in. For instance, for me, what is it? Robin Ford is a great blues player. Who else do I like? Well, the old guys, all the old ones are awesome. Yeah, Stevie Ray Vaughan. Yeah. Do you know yeah, you probably do. A student of mine, the kid who did this, who's the reason for this one, Oh, I see people. There is no comment section under my live video. Really? Let Billy. Okay, so that's something I'm gonna add to my list. Oh, that is really old stuff. That is super cool. That is interesting. This is the one you mean, right? Oh man, now I feel really bad because I always thought that House of the Rising Sun was from the Animals. I never questioned that. Like, I never questioned that. Oh my gosh, this is amazing. I'm so happy that you mentioned this guy because I had no idea. Yeah, of course, you know, as a music instructor, I should always research these things. But yeah, it's really hard researching everything always because your life is so busy. I have to prepare live streams. I have online students. I have my local students, and then I have a family, and I like to do active things on the weekends, go mountain biking, hiking, climbing, all that stuff. So, you know, somewhere you need to cut corners, right? And research is my place where I cut corners. And I always thought that this was just... Yeah, I think this is amazing, man. Oh man, this is amazing. Yeah, I'm super happy about this. Thank you so much for sharing this guy with me. Yeah. And that's, I think, also the magic, the absolute magic of YouTube, where you can just find almost everything these days. Just almost everything. Absolutely amazing. All right. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go out now. I'll be back next week at 8:15 p.m. Pacific time on Thursday for another live stream. I'm going to do the whole solo for Scuttle Buttin and the outro. So we'll have the whole thing wrapped up and eventually probably put it in a tutorial, like a proper one. If you need the tablature for it, it's on paytabs.com, or if you're a member of my Patreon page, it's there as well. All right. Wishing you all a great weekend ahead. It was great doing this. Hopefully the chat will be working better next time. All right. I'll see you.